Nope. Nah. Nah. Nope. Nada. Zero. Zilch. Bruce, perhaps you should take the night off. What is going on, guys? Ultimate Deadpool here. I hope you guys enjoyed that intro of Drunk Batman. That was just a way to show off the pieces that are behind these characters right now. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into things, starting off with the new stuff, and then we'll go on to the actual Batman suits, as well as Nightwing suits, throughout the rest of this video. So let's keep going. Alright, so first up we got Anakin Skywalker. Now, before we get too much farther into this figure, I found a knockoff Anakin Skywalker style lightsaber blade, or at least hilt. So anytime you see Anakin Skywalker on camera, he'll probably have this lightsaber in hand. For now, I gave it to Darkseid Anakin Skywalker, which, yes, I am still going to do Darkseid Anakin versus Deadpool for those of you who still want to see that. That is happening, I just haven't had time to do it yet. So, let's go ahead and keep going, and hopefully that video will be worth it when I actually do it. Provided I remembered to do it. So, anyway. So, this is essentially the Episode 3, one of the older Episode 3 Anakin Skywalkers. I have the Sith Eyes version of Anakin. So, it's got the same alternative facial expression that this particular one on the stand has. So the other face looks exactly like that, but then this one also has the Sith eyes. This one is it's the exact same minifigure, except it's got a cape to represent his robes, and he's just got that calm, nicer expression. So really good figure. This was expensive figure. But you know what? It was worth it because I've been trying to find this particular Anakin Skywalker for years to no avail. And since Anakin Skywalker is like my favorite Star Wars character, I had to pick it up. It was definitely worth it because this particular minifigure, if I'm not mistaken, is like extremely rare to find just because of what it is and the alternative facial expressions that it has. So really glad to have this figure. If Anakin shows up in any videos, like I said, he'll be rocking that new lightsaber hilt. I'm trying to get more custom lightsaber hilts, so hopefully that all works out. So without further ado, let's keep going. Okay, now moving on to essentially Batman Central for the rest of this video. We've got I didn't even know this existed. This is the Mad Max Batman from the Lego Movie Part 2. I had no idea this was an official figure. I saw people do cheap knockoffs and stuff of it, but I never knew it was an actual figure. And then I went to my local Lego store, and they actually had one of these things. It was actually surprisingly inexpensive, so I'm like, yeah, that's a bet there. So I picked up Lego Mad Max Batman. And one thing, if I could be wrong on this, the tire pieces that make up his shoulder armor, it feels like a hard plasticky rubber, kind of like what they use for like the old Yoda heads and stuff like that. It kind of feels like that, so it's kind of cool that they kind of made the tires rubber, essentially. So it's a really fun little feature that they added. I really need to fix this freaking chair. But it's kind of a cool thing that they added. I don't know why he's got a Lego Batman movie belt. I could be wrong. I don't remember that in the Lego Movie 2. And he's also got a tattered cape, which if you look closely has the same riffles and stuff up front. He's got no sleeves. Pretty standard Lego Batman movie head. In fact, I actually think I have this one from a different Lego Batman movie set. But really nice reflective printing on his legs and toes. I'm not entirely sure what's underneath the armor because I didn't bother taking it off. Pretty basic looking back printing. So let's go ahead and go on to the last thing before we really hit Batman Central. Alright, some of you guys might recognize this. This is supposed to be a mock-up of a Chevy Avalanche, which is the same type of truck that I drive on a daily basis, that Ghostbuster one that you guys have seen in some of my earlier videos. But this is as close to a representation of that vehicle as I possibly could do. I know it doesn't at all look like one, except for these pieces here, which are supposed to be a dead giveaway. This is obviously not entirely finished. The build itself is finished. And obviously, judging on the front of it, this is going to become a Ninja Turtles Battle Shell style vehicle. So hopefully that all works out. And it does house people in this cab, but you can see there's 4 people inside it now. This is a test. But other than that, this is not fully done yet, but the build itself is done. So now let's go ahead and go on to Batman and Nightwing Central. One last little minor thing before we jump into the minifigure section stuff of this. I've been trying very hard for the last several years to build these suit stands, or whatever you want to call them, from the first 2 Lego Batman video games, since those are my preferred of the Lego Batman games, which is kind of where this next entire rest of the video comes from. So, a couple things when I was figuring out how to do this. One, the video game is a big fat lie on the pieces that they use for this stuff, because the parts do not exist. For instance, as far as I know, they don't exist. The pieces that make up this outline ring piece are actually these middle section pieces, literally altered and had the entire centers of them cut out, specifically so that way it would give it the same effect as it did in the video game. Also, the flat base plate here is again just these pieces here, with all of the stud pieces cut off except one in the middle, one for each corner, and then the ones for the outside to make up the rings, so that way they have some kind of clutch power along the side of the build. And also, these pieces are a pain in the ass to find, as well as the stuff on bottom. So I really need to fix this freaking chair. So this is how it actually looks like in the video game, but to actually click it to the base plates on for my studio, I have to have a square piece on it so I can set it down. So if I were to take these, flat pieces off, it's just a standard. I actually had to cut out all 4 stud parts so I could put the Batman logo over that. So as far as I know, these top pieces do not exist, but this is as video game accurate as I could possibly make these suit stands. So hopefully you guys enjoy these. If you guys want to know how to do it, I'll do a video. I have like 16 of these things to build. So, because I have 16 Lego Batman suits that I'm working on. So if you guys want to know how to do this, it's actually very easy. I'll show you guys exactly how to do it, step by step on how to do it, just like I did with the Ash Williams chainsaw a couple years ago. And I did do a Robin version of it. Same general premise. So if you guys want to know how to do something like this, comment down below, like hashtag Lego suit stand or something like that. And I'll show you guys how to do these things step by step. It's actually very easy. You just need a handful of pieces and patience. So these are actually very easy to do, and I'll show you guys how to do it if you guys want me to do it. So now let's go ahead and go on to the minifigures. Alright, we're going to start off with the ones that are mostly complete but not fully complete. So out of 16 Batman video game suits, I have about 12 of them done. So this is obviously the water suit from the first Lego Batman video game, which is a suit that is worn by Robin, or Nightwing, because in that game they were interchangeable, which is something I wish they did in the second game, but unfortunately Nightwing is not in that game. But anyway, so like I said before, I decided to make the first Lego Batman video game suits off of Nightwing's version of the suit, just because I think the black just kind of pops better, and it doesn't look as weird as having a red body with the Robin standard torso. So I decided to go ahead and use Nightwing instead for the first video game. The second video game will obviously have Robin. So this character is just about done. The only thing it really needs is the oxygen tank to be repainted. The helmet needs to be all black, and he needs a red visor. Other than that, he has his nightsticks, because I ordered a lot of these blue lightsaber blade pieces through eBay. I got like 10 of them for, 10 of them for like $1 or something like that. He's got the flippers and everything. So this is just about done. Just needs to have a few touch-ups. Otherwise, he's good to go. Alright, so sorry for that slight mispause. So now we've got the first iteration of the magnet suit, which is actually one of my favorite suits in the video games. Even though it's completely impractical, because just like the suit stands, the pieces to make up a lot of these suits do not exist, and I'll explain this further later on in the video. But if you look at the magnet suit's backpack build, the piece that makes up the magnet part of it does not exist. So I literally had to take a Lego rod, heat it up, mold it, bend it myself, and then add the cone pieces on the end of it. So that's not a big deal. But another thing is, in the video game, it shows that Robin or Nightwing can stand up, perfectly straight, perfectly fine, with these disc pieces on. And unfortunately, these discs are the same size as they are in the video game, and they don't work. So you always have to have one leg up, which is kind of sad, because I know it's a video game and whatnot, and they can bend the rules and whatnot, and we'll get to that once we get to the attract suit and a couple of other stuff later down the line. But I think it's funny that they like, oh yeah, that we don't make pieces that can actually do that. But we're going to include it in our video game because, yay. So anyway, magnet suit's just about done. I just have to fix the magnet. And then this suit is all good to go. And before anybody asks, yes, this time I do actually have all the hair pieces and stuff that I need for Nightwing. I found some on eBay for inexpensive prices and went ahead and took care of that. So let's keep going. Alright, now we've got the technology suit. So this is, again, a perfect example of why I think the Nightwing versions of the suit just look better than the Robin versions of the suit. Because if this was Robin right now, the black parts would be red, and to me, the red and white just kind of really looks mind-jarring. And I can't describe it. It makes me feel uncomfortable almost. Like, it's hard to describe it. Like, when I see the red and white contrast, it hurts my head. So to me, the black and white or black and blue kind of really bring out, it looks better to me. I can't describe it. So that's why I chose Nightwing to get the first Lego video game Batman suits instead of Robin. Like I said, this one's just about done. The only thing it really needs is these white pieces on his backpack build to be painted green. And then once those are done, then this suit this entire minifigure is done. So, moving on. Alright, now we have my mother's favorite suit of the entire video game, the attract suit, or she always called it the Legos suit. Because the whole point of this suit is to suck up a whole bunch of Lego pieces, count up to 25 or 50, and then you get some stuff that can help you out throughout the levels and stuff. And this is a perfect example of why, at least from what I can tell, the Lego Batman video game suits pieces do not exist. Best example is his actual backpack piece. It's just a simple, it's like a 1x1 high with like 4 stud pieces around it. That's no big deal. But these triangular pieces, yes, they do exist now, but back then they didn't exist. And then the disc plate to read for the monitor on his back, that black part, was a pain in the ass to find with a stud piece in the center of it. And then he's got a simple bullhorn piece with a gray disc on the top of it. But then in the video game, this rope is digitally added. It is not an actual piece. It is 2 separate pieces in the video game, but they digitally added a cable to go from the backpack to the gun. So what I did was I just took a standard Lego rope or Spider-Man web, whatever you want to call it, painted it yellow, cut it down to size, plugged one part into the bottom of the backpack, cut it and glued the bottom part of the rope into the bottom part of the gun, so that way it's all one piece, just like kind of like it is in the video game. But because in the video game it's digitally done, this just looks a little bit cleaner than the video game. And really the only thing that this thing is missing is just a couple of touch-ups on the paint for the yellow pieces, and the 25 written on the back of his backpack, and a little bit of touch-ups around the bullhorn and dish. Other than that, this minifigure is completely done, and we have one more slightly incomplete figure, and then the rest of them are completely completed. So let's keep going. Alright, now we've got the glide suit. So again, I've said this before, I will say it again, a lot of the Lego Batman video game suits for the backpacks do not exist, as far as I know. The piece that makes up his backpack for the glide suit, as far as I know, it does not exist. I had to take two separate pieces, cut them up, and mix them together just to make it look like that. And even then, the wing pieces that fold inward and then spread out when you jump twice to glide, those pieces I know don't exist. So I'm going to end up using the battle axe pieces instead, just because it's the closest thing I can find to that. And also his backpack needs to be painted anyway, because like this piece right here is purple, this main backpack panel is purple, and then this piece right here that holds the wings is the same color as this part right here. Other than that, this suit's pretty much done. So now let's go on to the ones that are actually done. Oop, crap. Alright, sorry about that multi-pausing. So now we've got one of my favorite suits, the demolition suit. Now, for some reason, they decided to have Batman use bombs in the first Lego Batman game, which I think is okay. The build for this is actually very easy. You just need a standard Lego Batman minifigure from the early 2014s. I know it's extremely specific, but you get the point. A backpack piece, one of the 1x2 flat stud pieces that is like that, gray dish, and well, technically if you want to build the bomb, 3 red LEDs, the little radio piece, as well as the little cylinder. And again, just like everything else, the cylinder pieces don't really work right, because they don't show you that there's actually a rod through the whole piece. Just like if you can see, like right here, there's a brown rod and there cut down so that way he can still hold it with his hand. And that is what, oh shit. Cut. Sorry, I dropped the bomb. So, if you look right there, you can see there's a brown stick in there, and that's what actually holds up the pieces together. Otherwise, they just kind of sit there. So again, that's another one of those things that they designed it specifically for the video game. It's not really practically to build, unless you do the stick in the middle, or if you put a stud underneath it. But then at that point, the build is too tall. So, demolition suit is actually very easy to do. It's a very simple version of a bat suit. So let's keep going. Another one of my favorite suits, only because of how unique it is. This is the heat protection suit from the first game. Very easy to do. Just literally take a random Batman suit, change the colors from gray to red, put it on a red body. Take a Batman helmet, spray paint it red, take some goggles and put it over the eyes, glue it over there, and that's pretty much it. Again, it's another one of those things that Lego did not design to be an actual inputted thing, but it's something you can easily do to kind of modify it if you wanted to build Lego Batman video game suits like I did. I had to do this twice for 2 separate suits, and both times it actually worked really, really well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I just took a red cape and cut out Batman pieces to make it look more like Batman's cape. Moving on. Now on to our last Lego Batman video game 1 suit, we've got the Sonic suit, which is another one of my favorites just because of what it can do in the video game. And I also like the color blue on it. I just think blue on Batman looks really good. So he's got a black bullhorn piece with a gem glued in the middle of it. I've seen people put like the studs with the holes on them, on the end of them to make the same effect. That's not part of the video game. I try to make my stuff as accurate as I possibly can. So I just wedged in there a blue gem and glued it in place. He's got a tattered purple, blue paper cape. Very simple Batman build. And the actual torso is just the same thing. It's just a color swap of a standard Lego Batman torso design. So, moving on. Okay, now I'm conflicted on this one. This is the sonar suit. Or sensor suit, one of the two. In one game it was called the sonar suit, the other one was called the sensor suit. So I've seen so many different people try to recreate this particular suit, and I always see it two different ways. One, I see it as people do it in black and green, and then I see it in gray and green. If I'm not mistaken, the original video game, it was gray and green, so I went ahead and made mine of gray and green to better match the video game as best I could. You know, and just like the heat protection suit, he's got the goggles over his eyes with the red lenses. And then he's got the standard Lego Batman cape, just tinted green, and a pretty basic Batman torso that's also green and gray. So, moving on. Alright, now we got the Bat suit. That's what it's actually called in the video game. So this is basically an upgraded version of the Sonic suit, as well as the Glide suit. It's kind of those two suits put together. So this is actually another easy thing to do. A lot of these first Lego Batman video game suits are. All you need is the black wing set Batman gliding wings. These things, the backpack piece there. Purple paint. Purple hands, purple groin piece, an alien blaster, and a dark blue stud, and a dark blue dish. Other than that, the rest of it's just a standard Lego Batman minifigure. I tried to do the purple in the bat wings as best as I could to the actual video game. Sprayed it clear because otherwise it was going to scratch off and whatnot, and I don't want to do that. So, the bat suit. So, yay. This is actually one of the cleanest versions of the Lego Batman video game suits that I've ever done. Next one's a little bit cleaner, but the next one is the cleanest. Or the one after that is the cleanest, only because it's an official Lego minifigure. So, moving on. Alright, now we got the power suit, which is the one on the stand, not the gray one. So, this is actually one of the very few times when Lego did a armor mold that kind of resembled the one that they did in a video game. The one that they used for the armored Batman for Batman vs. Superman is not exactly the same type of mold that was used in the Lego Batman 2 video game for the power suit, but it is as close to it as they have. So then that way you can just take two telescope pieces, two what I call missile pieces for the tops, and then I know the original game had robotic arms, like Metalhead's robot arm for my minifigure. As the arms with boxing gloves, they didn't exactly have boxing gloves that would fit in those hands, and I didn't feel like trying to glue those in those arms. So I just gave him standard minifigure hands and or minifigure arms, and then he also has the boxing gloves instead of regular minifigure hands, and a short cowl of Batman's classic cowl, because in that video game he has a bigger helmet and short ears. So this is as close to what they have, and I didn't feel like trying to mold my own helmet. So for now, this is going to do just fine. And then I had to spray paint the armored Batman armor black, and then hand paint the rest of it. So it's not too bad. It's a pretty accurate representation of the video game, but not perfect, but not bad either. You can definitely look at it and say, oh yeah, that's the power suit from Lego Batman 2. Moving on to the last one. Oop, crap. Alright, now we've got the electricity suit. So the actual minifigure part of this is an official Lego minifigure that you could get in the, I guess, the Batman Visual Dictionary. You can get a Lego Batman electricity suit from that book. But this is, again, a perfect example that the Lego video games do not make the pieces practical. You cannot actually build the backpacks with the pieces that they use in the video game. A perfect example of this is the electricity suit backpack piece. So let's go ahead and take that off real quick. Ah, crap. Cut. Alright, so this is the backpack build. So basically what you do to build this, if I can find an extra piece of the main build. Aha, here it is. So basically you need essentially a castle piece from like Hogwarts or something like this in black. And then you take a flat 1x2 panel piece, put it on a backpack, and then essentially they put this castle piece on top of that, put a 1x2 on the top of that, 2 flat blue studs on the top of that, and then 2 blue studs on the bottom of that. So those pieces don't fit right, or they don't fit at all because it's all smooth. Well, the main piece is a smooth plate. So again, it just goes to show that Lego designed the video game backpacks to like look like they could be built, but they don't actually. You can't actually put them together. So, or at least to the best of my knowledge, you can't actually put them together. So what I did is I just took a flat 1x2 piece, built up the backpack and whatnot from the video game, and then just kind of glued everything together to make a practical version of the electricity suit backpack from the first time we see it in Lego Batman 2, the video game, DC Superheroes, or Heroes United, or whatever you want to call it. So this is one of the best examples I can show you that the backpacks and stuff that they use for the Lego Batman video games, at least the first two, they do not exist. The third one is a completely other thing all by itself, but these first two games, they definitely tried to do more practical stuff that you could possibly do if you know how to do it, or if you have the patience to try to figure it out. And yeah, it's just one of those things that it can be done, but you have to basically break Lego's code in order to do that. Because Legos, everything's supposed to fit together, and with most of the stuff that they have in the video games, you have to alter the pieces to make them work. So anyway, that's just a slight little thing I thought I'd bring up in this video. I know I've said it so many times in this video. I apologize for the repetitiveness. But anyway, very easy build, very easy to do. And oddly enough, one of the things that Lego really screwed up on with the electricity suit Batman is because for some reason they molded the helmet wrong. And I've seen this on all the electricity suits that I've seen on the internet, people who actually have the official Legos electricity suit minifigure. The helmet is not molded right and sits a lot lower on the head than everything else. So I had to like gunk up his entire head just to keep it level. So that way you can actually see his eyes and mouth just fine like any other regular Batman minifigure. So, not easy, but, you know, it looks better. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys want to know how to do any of this type of stuff, let me know down in the comments below. It's actually really easy to do. And if you guys want to know how to do any of the other builds in this video, just let me know how I do, and I'll show you guys how to do it, aside from me explaining it in just this 30-minute video. So, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys all next time on Ultimate Deadpool. Peace out. You guys are awesome. I'll catch you guys all later. Bye.